All right, time for an upgrade to the Cube. So the stock shifter in this base model, at least, I don't know if the other ones are better, it's kind of awful. Like, we're not even talking about the shifter itself, just like the interface. This is some sort of vinyl that just doesn't feel very good. And the shifter is like a rubber with a plastic top. And the rubber, probably from wear, maybe, I don't know, but it just feels unpleasant. My wife commented it feels like a used sex toy. So I got some things to improve that. I found this. This is pretty cool. This is a shift boot. I found some stuff. This is a shift boot in a sort of koi fish traditional pattern that I'm going to attempt to use here. It's going to be a little interesting to make work because this has the reverse lockout, so it's a different top, and this is very much intended for just slipping over the regular sort of shaft. And then also this shifter is not threaded, it's pressed on. There's like a knurling, so I had to get a adapter to bring it to a threaded end, and then I got a sort of pearl black shift knob. This may not end up being the final shift knob, but this was like nice and unoffensive and pretty, and will work with a lot, it works reasonably well with this. I thought it was going to have more silver in it, but, and then if it, later on, if I decide to change it, whatever, it wasn't that expensive. So I'm going to try and rip this all apart and see what's going on. I know I'm going to need a screwdriver and a 10 mil to get the center console off so that I can see how the shifter boot is attached. So let's get into it, I guess. Alright, time skip because the camera battery died. So I've got the shift boot in. The original shift boot had a sort of oval shaped steel thing built into the bottom of it that I cut out of that shift boot. And there's two clips over here, one here, two here, one here, that it clipped into. So what I just did was laid this one over it and clipped it in through it. So this is captured pretty good. And then at the top here, I took out the insert that was there, which was held on by a zip tie from the inside. And then it was a little too small to fit over, so I very carefully cut it in one spot to make the opening a little wider. And then basically fed it through upside down. So, I had this up, I had the center console up above and had this pushed through and fed it over the top. So, I had a, I don't know, a quarter of an inch or so past where the old shift knob or old shift boot attached, and then I just put some zip ties in to hold it there and then pulled the whole thing down over it. So works pretty good. If you try and poke at it, you can feel the ends of the zip ties. I'll redo it at some point. This console is going to be coming out a lot in the near future, but at some point I'll do it better with a flush cutter or something. But I think that looks pretty good. It's definitely better than that old thing. And then the shift knob up here, I just yanked it off. And then there was a plastic sleeve, and I took a pair of pliers and just ripped it apart. You can see the pieces down there to get it off. And then this adapter, I just put all these set screws in. It's got 3 sets of set screws around it, and it's got 4 plastic adapters. This looks like the one that's going to work for me, so I need to cut this off of here, off the other ones, put it in, feed this down over it, get it all down as far as I can, and then tighten all these set screws, and then the shift knob should just wind onto it. So I'll catch you at that point. And there we are with the adapter and the shift knob installed. It actually turned out to be easier to spin the knob down onto the adapter and then be able to use that to sort of push and turn the adapter down onto that rubber collar thingy in there, and then tighten down all 6 set screws. The Allen key that they gave me with it bounced out of one of them and yeeted itself down in here somewhere. I'm sure I'll find it when I change the seats out, but I just grabbed my Allen keys and finished it off. And yeah, I wish I hadn't put a nick in this just now while I was getting the shifter off, but I'm pretty happy with that. Like, I like the look of this. It's also way nicer looking than what was there. It is not embroidered, it's printed, so the ad was a lie, but it does look pretty good. It's got an interesting sort of style to it. And the adapter, I like, it actually looks good with all the set screws on it. It looks very purposeful and industrial. And I like the shift knob. And it actually, one of the things it also did is the old knob stopped probably about here, maybe. So it gave me a little bit more height, which was what I wanted. I like tall shifters. This will probably end up either with an extension or with an absurdly tall shifter itself. But I just wanted a simple one for now because I wasn't sure, like, things like dashboard clearance and whatnot. So yeah, nice quick little upgrade. I want to eventually do something more interesting with this, but I think it's going to be complicated. Maybe I'll just wrap wrap a piece of metal collar or something around this part to make it look better and make it less obvious that this is just a chunk of plastic. But I'm happy with that. That looks pretty good. And, you know, I'll post the actual number right here, but I think it was like, I think I've got like 20 or 30 bucks into all three pieces, which is not bad at all. So yeah, I will put, if I remember, I will put links in the description to the eBay searches that'll get you these three items. I'm not going to put links to what I bought because there's so many shops that sell them and their prices are all different and they regularly go on sale and whatnot. That's no point in linking you to a specific shop. But I'll put the search that'll get you this, and there's a couple other styles too. So search that gets you that, search that gets you this, and the search that gets you this specific style knob. But if you change out black for any other color, there's a bunch of different pearl ones in different styles. And the top of this is this thread pitch that I've forgotten at the moment. So the knob search that I'll link is the one that matches the thread pitch of this, because this doesn't come with adapters, it comes with just a specific insert in it. So that's it on that little job. I just have to screw the console deck down and I can call that good and done. So yeah, pulled the door panel off, pulled this thingy off, and then the factory speaker, there's two like locating tabs, and then the 3 bolts, and then this I have to just cut this and it clips in, and as soon as I get it in, I'll be able to find out whether or not these speakers work. I'm like 90% sure they will, but I'll be curious. So I just checked, and I can't do it for you because copyright music, but I turned the radio on and did fade all the way back, and it comes out of the back speakers. So yeah, they're completely wired into the system. The radio expects there to be rear speakers, but there isn't. So if you have a Cube, put speakers in. I mean, you don't even have to put these in. You could put a factory, you know, an aftermarket, whatever that size is, in. But yeah, fully functional, fully wired up rear speaker spots with no rear speakers in them. So easy upgrade. I have the chairs I bought for the Nissan Cube that are dirty, and I was going to shampoo them, like either rent a rug shampoo or borrow one or something. But then I got looking at them and realized that I can get the seat cushions off, so I did. The back of this one zips on both sides. It's basically to give you access to the airbag that's supposed to be over here, which is currently on the floor. But a little bit more work, couple zip tie like things, and a couple of hog rings, and the seat cushions just came off. And that's going to get me a much better clean by being able to just literally run them through the washing machine. The cushions are not in bad shape. There's a little bit of discoloration, as that's normal. So I'm going to spray these with a little bit of white vinegar just to kill any mold or anything that might be in here. And I'm pondering putting in seat heaters since I've already got them stripped. Like, this is 90% of the job of installing seat heaters in a car. So it might just make sense for me to do that and avoid and just take advantage of it, because a set of ceramic seat heaters is not that expensive, and that'd be a nice little upgrade. So I think I might do that. But in the meantime, I've got to get the other seat that I'm sitting in right now stripped, and I've got to figure out if I can get that stripped. There are a few things I can't strip. The armrest that goes here doesn't come apart, nor does the headrest. So those are going to have to get cleaned in a more traditional method, but that's okay because they're less dirty than everything else. This is going to get really interesting. Like, when I was talking about how heavy this was at the junkyard, like, look at the amount of steel in just this seat bottom. Like, this is just like nuts how much metal is in this thing. No wonder it weighs an absolute ton. So I'm gonna strip this all down. I'm gonna strip this seat down, and hopefully that'll get me a cleaner end result than just scrubbing them in place would have. Seat is stripped. These are the covers for that seat. The covers for those seat are in the wash right now. All of the foam at this point has been sprayed with vinegar so that it'll kill any remaining mold in it. Tomorrow, if it's sunny, these are going to get set out in the sun so the UV can bake out any remaining mold that may be present. These are going to get taken inside and run through the washer. The center armrest also can't come apart, so that can't go in the wash, but again, shouldn't have an issue. I actually have a friend who's going to stop by with a shampooer tomorrow, which is great because I'll do these and I'll do the carpet, and I'll probably end up doing some of the BlackBerry, the Prius's interior, just to get that really, really nice. But yeah, this is all pulled apart. This is all good. I am going to go double check the pricing on seat heaters, and if they are what I remember to be, you know, pretty decent, respectable price, the two front seats are going to get seat heaters since I've already got them torn apart, and that's, like I said, most of the work. I'm really happy with this. I did not expect to be taking them apart, but it's a good repair. So, you know, one evening of this and another evening of putting them back together again, and I'll have much nicer seats, I think, than I would have if I'd only been able to surface clean them. Yeah, so that's that. All right, more about cleaning the seats. My friend Mike loaned me his little carpet cleaner. Something like this was what I was planning to use on all the seats before I went a little overboard. But I still need something to clean the headliner, or the head rests and the armrests, and probably these rugs. So yeah, he loaned me this. It's loaded up with hot water and soap, and I'm going to give it a shot. And there's everything done. No dramatic changes because headrests don't tend to be particularly gross. The back of this is the armrest, the sort of butt of it here. You know, if it's in the seat, it'd be like that. That had some brown staining that I got rid of. I suspect that that was either mold or just like something that got spilled and ended up, that's the one spot they couldn't clean. So these are going to lay out and dry. I'm going to scrub the posts here because some of them have some crudlings on them, and then these will be ready to go back in once I reassemble the seats. All right, I'm still waiting on the seat heaters for the front seat, but I'm going to reassemble the back seat. So I washed everything and came out pretty darn good. There's still a few stains that haven't budged, but all that horrible staining from the mold and stuff is basically all gone. There's a little bit of residual staining there, but that's under the seat. It won't be visible. I'm really happy with that. That came out pretty darn good. I think it's going to look just fine. So I'm going to get this back on here, but I got to fit this all on. I got to hog ring it back in place down these and whatnot. Probably going to find, like I just noticed now, I'm going to find a couple halves of hog rings I got to pull out of there. Come on. Yeah, like that. Oh, there's the other half. And then that should go back together pretty easy. These have definitely got the advantage of the hog rings are only in a couple specific places, unlike the seat that we did the seat bottom in this, as far as we've gotten, but that needs hog rings everywhere and it took forever. So, all right, let's get to it. there we are, fully reassembled. Wasn't too bad to put back together once I figured out where the stuff went. Whoa! Still got some stains here, there. There's a few. But overall, it looks pretty presentable. Looks exponentially better than it did when it came out of that car in the yard. So I think I'm going to call that a thorough win. That is back together. That's not going to be moldy anymore. I can guarantee that. Now I can sort of store this off to the side without having it in 3 pieces with 3 separate covers floating around. So cool. That's done. Again, these are still waiting on the seat heaters, which are supposed to be here sometime this week. Another day, more work on the seats, because the seat heater kit has arrived. I haven't even had a chance to go through it, so let's take a look at it. Alright, so we have 2 seats. I think this is the stuff to stick it down with, but I'm not entirely sure. And then we have another 2 seats. These are, you can look on eBay for them. They're carbon fiber seat heaters. I don't know exactly what makes them carbon fiber. I'm assuming that the traces in here are carbon fiber, but that's what they are. They're not terribly expensive. Some kind of like metal sticker. There's no instructions whatsoever. I've looked online trying to find info, and I found a couple install both videos and stuff that talk about these, but essentially you have an upper and a lower for the backer and the you know, where your butt sits for each seat here. They can be cut to any length as long as you have a couple of inches from where the wire is here. You have to have at least a few inches of it, but you can cut it, you know, down here to whatever length you want. These have connectors on them that go to undo this whole thing. They go to these left and a right. They're color coded, which is nice. They give you a ton of wire to take you to the little control box here. These are your 2 controls. I went for the slightly higher end 6-position ones, but they also have ones that are 3-position. Like they also have ones that are 3 positions, like off, low, high. This is like a few dollars more, so I decided, F it, I'll get the nice ones. And then you have, coming off of it, a couple of wires. You have a positive and a negative for the main power. And then, if I recall correctly, one of these is switched power and one of these is the dash lights. I don't remember off the top of my head which one, but we're not going to be wiring that end in today, so I'm not that worried. But I think this one's switch powered and I think this is the dash lights, but don't quote me on that. But the idea is this is the one, a little bit beefier, that provides the power to the heaters themselves. The switched power one turns the heaters off when the key is out. So the car can't sit there with the heaters on, you know, overnight and either kill the battery or cause a fire or whatever. This does have a built-in 15 amp fuse, which is nice. I like that. And both ends unplug from this to make it easier to mount stuff. So I can, you know, screw this down and then plug things into it and whatnot. And this has extra wiring as well. And these are also, let's see, L and R, but they don't tell me which is L and R on the other end. That's annoying. I'm gonna have to experiment with that, I guess. Oh, and these unplugged, that's good. That's gonna make life easier. Now I can just drill a hole, pop this through. Done. So I guess I'm gonna have to install these, assuming an L and R, and then figure out which one, because I mean, worst case scenario, I just unplug these 2 and plug them into the other switches. If I've got them backwards, it doesn't really matter, I guess. But it's a little annoying that none of the other stuff is labeled with L and R, just those 2. But that's the kit. We're not worrying about pretty much any of this today. This is all just going to get stuff to put back in the bag here. Oh, and they gave me some cheap zip ties for zip tying things in place. This is all going to go back in the bag for now. some more zip ties. And we're just going to worry about installing these. Really wish I knew what this was for, because these, I just realized these are the adhesives to stick them down. So I don't know what this part is for. I don't know if this is actually metallic or not. You know what? I'm going to go look at a quick couple of things and then come back and tell you what this is for instead of just sitting here wondering. And so after much research, the answer is these are heat transfer tape and nobody knows what they're fucking for. They're mentioned in the included items in several different sets of instructions, then never mentioned once in the instructions. This is from multiple different companies, from like cheap stuff to high-end stuff. I found one post on a Corvette forum from somebody saying, hey, what is this for? And like 3 other people were like, I installed seated heats and I didn't have that, or I didn't know either. So no clue. No clue at all. Nobody seems to know what they're for. So I'm going to ignore them, just like it seems like everybody else does. My guess is that it's like you stick it somewhere to help the heat pass through, but I don't know where, so we're skipping that. So, seat pads. Oh, the other thing is clarified. You should not cut this shorter than 12 inches in this dimension, and you should not make a cut closer than 2 inches to the edge, if at all possible, because both of those will reduce the effectiveness, and you should not cut any of these wires, obviously. So, that being said, I'm going to stuff the wires through later, but basically this one's going to get installed here, obviously, and this one is going to get installed here. Now, obviously these cut across my slits for the where the seat attaches. I saw something that said if the seat cover has wires in it to attach like this, that you have to cover those in non-conductive tape. It didn't say anything about in the cover here, but I think I'm gonna cover them anyway, just to be on the safe side, because these are gonna kind of end up pushed in like that. I think so. The top of this has a bit that doesn't have any seat heater in it, like an extra inch. So what I think I might do, depending on my space availability, is, if at all possible, what I might end up doing is tucking this in far enough that I can attach with the same hog rings as the seat pack. I can attach this here because it'll be going through just cloth, so the steel hog rings won't be a problem or anything. It'll help hold the top of this securely in place. And then the lower one here, I'm going to install using zip ties instead of hog rings. And I'm going to try and sneak ones on either side here, and then I'm just going to cut a hole in the middle. Any holes you cut, you need to put tape around the edges so that you don't leave this exposed. So I'm going to be doing that. And then this one here, similarly, I'm going to tuck it, because I also don't want the wires, I don't want to be able to feel the wires through my butt. So I'm going to tuck that one pretty far in, and I think I will be similarly able to just kind of tuck this down and tuck this down. And I don't have to worry quite as much about this one shifting because it's not fighting gravity. These do have big adhesive strip things to help them stick in place. So, yeah. So the seat warmer is in, and a good thing I realized is this ribbed wire here is the one for the airbag, and this whole seat has like a diaper that covers all of that, so it protects the airbag wiring. So I just ran everything alongside that. Now my 2 connectors are under the seat here and will be easy enough to connect. I don't remember, maybe it goes around these, I guess, something like that. But yeah, and here it is from the top. This one's got the normal hog rings. This one's got 3 zip ties holding it in. If I really poke at this end, I can kind of feel one of the zip ties. This has a single zip tie here and nothing on either end, and then this one's got 3 hog rings. And I really like, the fabric's a little looser there, but not in a way that's obvious or strange or anything. So I think that's going to be totally fine. There's nothing to like catch the end of the plastic, because it's hooked in the middle, the plastic's pulled down here and here. And there's actually a connector down in this corner that to hold the seat on that I haven't realized I hadn't hooked up when I flipped it back over. So this seat is done, ready to go in the car. I'm just going to have to duplicate that with that seat. You may have noticed in the video that I put a seat cover on and took it off. It's because I managed to put the driver's seat cover on the passenger seat. Not my brightest moment, but fortunately it was an easy enough thing. Cut 3 hog rings, cut 1 zip tie, and fix it. So that seat is ready to go in. All right, 2 finished seats. So this one went together fine, other than a little bit of I damaged the screw in here, so we'll find out whether I need to grab that from the other one. Slight bummer is this stain is a lot more obvious once it's assembled, but overall they look good. And seat heaters are in, they're just going to need to obviously be connected. The tracks on these are a little rusty, like the foot pads basically. So I may end up swapping the ones from my seats if they're in nicer shape, just because there's no reason to put a rusty part in if I have a nice one. The driver's seat in my car is all messed up. Like, it almost feels like the crossbar is too high, which means something's, and the whole seat feels slightly twisted to one side. So this is going to be a nice change to swap this one in. Yeah, so next step is going to be pull out the existing seats, clean the carpets and all that real thoroughly, since I'm going to have access to all that stuff. Get these in and get the seat heater controls wired up. Guess we forgot to turn the camera on. Anyway, seats are all out of here. It's dirty, like I expected. I mean, it's the kind of dirt that accumulates where you can't vacuum properly. So I'm not surprised, but they all came out pretty easy. One bolt was just a little bit stubborn, but it yielded with a little bit more ugga-duggas. So yeah, basically what I want to do in here is vacuum all this crap up while I can. I think I may get the shampooer and do like the salt in this footwell and maybe this area in here if it doesn't come up good with the vacuum. And yeah, just basically all I got to do is get the floor cleaned up, and then I can put those other seats in. All right, it's getting dark in here, but whatever. Got it all vacuumed up. Nothing amazing, no amazing finds. A new leather air freshener. It doesn't smell like anything anymore. A lot of coins, most of which are boring. One big Y coin, which is a supermarket chain around here. And then whatever this thing is. This end looks like it's a Schrader valve, like for like it screws onto a tire, but then it's got a piece of hose attached to it, and I don't know what the hell this is all about. I did find a really weird sort of nipple thing, like metal nipple to go on a hose, but not, it didn't look like it went on this. I've already thrown it out, unfortunately, but it's a weird thing. It was in the center console. But anyway, yeah, so this is all vacuumed up, came up pretty good. I think, yeah, I am going to come in here with that carpet cleaner, just see if I can get it a little bit nicer. But overall, it's not bad at all. This is the airbag module. And unfortunately, it's taking up a bunch of the space in here. I'm going to see if that controller box will fit here in front of it nicely for the heated seats. If not, I may put it on top, or I may, well, maybe I'll just put it over here, I guess, because that's a dead space there. Yeah, but I'll find a spot for it. That's not a big deal. The big thing I'm trying to decide is where to put the heated seat controls, because I can put them here, I can put them on the side somewhere, I can put them way back here somewhere. I think I'm leaning towards like way. Does this panel pop out separately? I think it might. Can't tell if yeah, that's a separate panel. Okay, I can't figure out, I can't do it one-handed, but I think this piece pops out. So I may put them like there, way back there, or maybe, you know, here, somewhere in the back here where they're not going to be where your hand normally is, so that I'm less likely to bump them. Because I think up here I might like hit them with drinks and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty clean in here. It's not bad at all. There's no mystery stains. A couple other things. That's my fuel pump access. So that's cool. I don't have to drop the tank if the fuel pump ever has a problem. I like that cars are doing that now. Makes so much more space. And then under here, remember when I was at the junkyard wondering what that random piece of fiberboard is for? It covers the jack hole. Yeah, we've got the factory tow hook, lug wrench, and jack. There's also one of these like 4-way collapsible tire irons, and then some other random odds and ends tools in here. And these all should, I'll take these all out of here when I'm thinking about it. I don't need 5, 6, whatever screwdrivers, several sockets, but no socket wrench. I think I'm going to give this a quick vacuum in here. It looks like there should be an additional thing in here, just by the shape of the compartment, but I don't actually know. So yeah, that's the. Does this have a place it lives? Doesn't seem to on this. Oh, really, really cheap and shit. Oh, what that is. But this now makes me curious. Like, is the floor foam all the way across? So, yeah, huh. The floorboard on this side is another brick of foam. I know the fronts are large. Like, the floor in this is lower than what you see. This is a foam block over here, so if I ever want to add more storage, I could theoretically get one of these boxes out of another one and peel the hard bits off the underside of that carpet there or something, and essentially duplicate that over here. But I could cut the bottom out of the box so that it's the full depth, and I can make myself a whole other cubby over here. Maybe some of the modifications I have planned, that might not be a bad place to hide all the bits and pieces for it. Oh, think about it later. Not a big deal. But yeah, I'm going to clean this out. It's the little odds and ends that have ended up in here. Vacuum that out, and then I'm going to get the carpet cleaner, and I'm going to do this. I'm not going to bother to show you the done rugs because it'll probably be pitch black out here by then. But as soon as I get that done, the seats are going in. So I will catch up with you once I have the seats in place. And the chairs are installed. Let me kind of show you as best I can in the dark. Yeah, driver seat's in, passenger seat's in, rear seat back there is in. I'm a little frustrated with myself because I started doing the carpet cleaning over here and I did the edges and it didn't seem like it was doing anything. So I stopped, and then once it dried I could tell that it had been working, and now I've put the seats in. But oh well, whatever. Carpet's going to cover that anyway. But yeah, seats are all in, all secured. I ended up swapping the rails from the old seats onto these because the old rails had a little bit of rust, but the rails themselves were nicer than the ones off the junkyard seats. So all in, all good. The seat heaters have been hooked up to the seats, and I installed the 2 controls there. Unfortunately, I marked them both, and then I didn't realize that the unibit had slipped on one of them, so that they're not lined up well. But fortunately, this is a separate piece that's removable, so I can replace it if that annoys me enough, which it probably eventually will. And then in the little dead space in here is where I stuffed the control thing and all the extra wiring, because hey, I wasn't using that space. So that's all there. The wiring to power this is currently just stuffed up under the edge over here because I need to take apart much more of the interior. I like it. It brightens up the interior. They look so much nicer and more interesting than the all black ones that were in here. This seat is way more comfortable. It doesn't have the broken problem the other one did, and it has the armrest. The armrest itself, unfortunately, is kind of shot. The foam is kind of shot, but I can always look for another armrest in better shape and just bolt it on, or possibly redo this one at some point. But I have an armrest now, which is nice. So yeah, I'm going to call that a win so far. All right, so that's some interior upgrades. I've also put in the visors that have mirrors in them. I didn't bother to film that because it's a couple of screws. Not terribly exciting. But that finishes for my upgrades right now in the interior. We've got the new shift knob and boot, the new seats with the seat warmers in it, the visors, and the rear speakers. So I'm not wiring up the seat heaters right this moment, even though the temperature is getting cold, so I need to do this soon, because I am going to be adding an additional fuse block in this car for accessories, so it's going to get wired into that. So there's no point in doing like a half-assed, for now, wiring, only to rip it back out later. So that'll get wired in that video, which hopefully will be soon. I need to order those parts, and then I'm going to go forward from there. So that's going to be it for my interior upgrades for right this moment. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.